Bracketology, presented by Dave Campbell's Texas Football, breaking down the 2023 Texas High School Football Playoff Brackets. I am Greg Tepper. This is 2A Division I. And what's interesting is that for a bracket that the champion came from this side, get to them in a moment, last year, all anybody could talk about is this side, right? Region 3 and Region 4. And we'll get to them in a moment. But I think everywhere you look in this bracket, there are threats to the real contenders in this in 2A Division 1. And that's what's going to make this really fun to watch every round. Let's start Region 1. That is where the defending state champs lie. Remember, Hawley, the defending state champs, the champions of District 4, took a couple losses early on, but they've gotten their wheels back on. I think quarterback Keegan Abels has grown into the role. We know they've got big-time playmakers like Chandler Myers and Deontay Ramon that are hard to match up with, but I also think Region 1 as a whole is better. Specifically, Stratford, Stamford, a very dangerous team. New Deal, champions of District 2, has been fantastic. I think this Sonora team, Week 11 loss notwithstanding, is a team that is very, very dangerous. And then down here, a second-round matchup with Panhandle is not going to be any picnic for Hawley. Hawley absolutely can win Region 1 again, but they're going to have to earn it in a big way because this is a very, very dangerous region. On to Region 2. Region 2 is kind of the... If there is a region that I think has a heavy favorite that nobody's talking about, it's Region 2 with Tolar. The Rattlers have been absolutely outstanding. The Snake Farm has been alive and well. The defense has been fantastic, and we know that they are going to grind it out on the ground. Who can challenge them? Nocona is an interesting team. First round matchup between Italy and Crawford. Crawford, a really good team that just lost the wrong games. Now they find themselves kind of in a dirty part of the bracket here. Region 2. This Axtell team, coming off of an undefeated regular season, first time since like 1986, this Axtell team is very intriguing. Keep an eye on Craig Horn's bunch. They're very young as well. I think this Marlin game with Coleman in the second round could be very intriguing as well. Keep an eye on Tioga as well. This Region 2, Tolar is a team to beat undisputedly, but there's plenty of teams down here that I think can give them a real challenge. And don't worry, I mean, if Crawford gets hot, that's a team that is very capable of making a deep run. Let's go to Region 3. Now, Region 3 is where we get to the teams that have been on the tip of everybody's tongue, specifically the number one team in the state, the Timpson Bears. They have the reigning Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year in Terry Bussey at the quarterback spot. He is back and apparently healthy, has looked very good. But he's not alone. He's got guys like J.J. Garner who have been absolutely spectacular. I think that they are the favorite in this bottom half of the bracket. Centerville, probably their biggest threat. Honeygrove's really interesting. A team that started off super hot, struggled a little bit down the stretch, but their defense has been absolutely lights out all year long. What happens down here if they were to run into a team like Timpson? Up here at the top half of the bracket, you have Cooper, who knocked off Honeygrove. We know what they're about. They're about grinding running game and defense, and they do it particularly well. They have been very good, have the Bulldogs. What happens when they run into a team like Beckville, potentially, in the area in the regional semifinals with Jacoby Williams, who is a high P5 FBS recruit? That is interesting. Garrison is another team to keep an eye on, whose lone loss in the year is to Timpson in Week 10, or Week 11 rather, and gave them a real run. Timpson's your favorite. They've got to be your favorite, but there are landmines everywhere for the Bears. Over to Region 4. Region 4, if you remember, it used to be that Region 4 was the real power nexus of 2A Division 1, and it's because of three teams. It's because of Mason, Shiner, and Refugio. Well, Refugio's still there. Right, Refugio right here, the champions of District 15, the number 2 team in the state. They've been fantastic. Playmakers all over the place like Ernest Campbell, the fastest man in Texas. This team is dangerous. Shiner is back in the playoffs, but they've fallen off, and I think that they're going to have a tough second-round matchup. If they get past Freer, by the way. Tough second-round matchup with Holland, who's been very good. But the team that we haven't talked about in a while, folks, Mason's back. Mason's 10-0. They're playing old-school punchers football, which is running game and defense. They're very hard to beat. What happens when they run a Ganado in the second round, potentially? I think Refugio is your favorite, right? That is the real question, is what happens when we get Refugio and Timpson if they get there. But there's landmines all over the place, and we could see an old-school Refugio-Mason regional final here in Region 4. When you take a look at 2A Division I as a whole, defending champ over here, but plenty of landmines, a clear favorite in my opinion in Tolar, and then we're all kind of waiting for Timpson and Refugio. Remember, Region 4 has dominated Region 3 for the past decade, basically. Is this the year that Region 3 finally gets through? That's the real question. No matter what happens, we'll have you covered every step of the way at TexasFootball.com.